Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be doing an update of Washington Dulles International Airport. This is actually the second to last update of this airport. We're actually going to be redoing Dulles in 2 months. I'll explain all of that when I get to the end of this video. I have like plans and rough blueprints for the next Dulles, the next generation of Dulles, I guess you could say, the next form of Dulles. But yeah, apart from that, I'm not going to bore you with anything else. Just sit back and relax and enjoy this update. Time frame for this update is kind of early evening, so we're not diving into the late night flights, but we're getting, you know, a good amount of international flights, different flights like that. But yeah, I'm going to dive straight into this update with this Delta 757-200. He's just arrived in from Houston carrying the Washington Nationals from the World Series. This flight did land in yesterday, I think, from this day where I'm recording, which is Friday, the same day that you're seeing this. And it was a Delta 757-200 that was carrying the team, because if you do not know, Delta actually has two 757-200s based here at Washington Dulles that are primarily used as sports charters. I know that at least one of them is the wingletless Delta 757-200, and I know that that is the one that did carry the Washington Nationals into Dulles. I do have one of them on order from NG Models, but it hasn't shown up. I actually ordered that back in July, and yeah, it still hasn't shown up. So yeah, I'm still waiting on that. I'm still waiting on a lot of planes as well, but we do have a couple new models in this update. But apart from that, this is the Delta 757-200 carrying the Washington Nationals into Dulles. And next at the terminal here, Gemini Jets has kind of let themselves down here because there's still no Air Canada Express ERJ 175. It should arrive within the next week. Usually it does come before the releases, but the releases actually came out a couple days ago now, so they're a bit slow on this one, but you know, I should get it within the next week. Gemini Jets, one thing they are good at is getting the models to you. NG Models not so much, because I've been waiting for a few NG Models for a long time now. But here we have an Air Canada Express CRJ 900. Hopefully this will be the last update with this plane, but you never know. This is going to be heading out to Montreal. Next here, just getting some fuel on board, we have a Frontier A320neo. He's going to be heading out to Denver or Mile High Aviation's airports. And then next to him we have another Frontier A320. He's getting some catering on board, and then he's going to be heading out to Las Vegas. Next here we have the money shot, I guess you could say. This is probably the best shot of any plane on this update. It's not that good in this one though, because the lighting isn't great. There is no outdoor light. It's actually pretty dark today. But yeah, here we have a Virgin Atlantic A330-300. He's going to be heading out to London Heathrow. And next here we have a pretty exciting plane. This is the British Airways A380. Now the British Airways A380 has now started its service back at Dulles. After the long summer of 747s and 777s, we now have a bit of variation. We have the British Airways A380 operating the early evening flight, and then we have the British Airways 787-9 operating the late night flights. This is just holding short of the runway, and he's going to be heading out to London Heathrow. But one pretty cool thing about this plane is I actually did take this plane to Dulles back in 2016, 2017, something like that. I can't really remember. And so I have actually been on this exact plane. It's GXLEI, and even cooler is that today, Friday, the day that you're seeing this exact plane is also flying to Washington Dulles. I don't know if you can see that there. I'll try and focus it. Yeah, GXLEI, yeah, it's just heading from London to Dulles, so that's pretty good. This exact model is heading to Dulles today, so yeah. Next here we have another model that hasn't been in a Washington Dulles update for a while. Here we have the Aer Lingus A330-200. This is one of my rarest planes in my collection. Apart from the Air India 777-200, this was a very expensive plane. I think it was £110 I think I bought this for, and then they got the new livery, so oh well. But yeah, this is going to be heading out to Dublin, and again I did check the registration of all of the international flights you see on this update, and I think the British Airways one is the only one that matches exactly, but this is the LAX registration, and the one that's operating today's flight is EWR. So I don't know whether all of the Aer Lingus A330s are named after American airports, because obviously EWR is the code for Newark, and then LAX of course is the code for Los Angeles. I don't know if that's a thing or not, or it's just a coincidence, but yeah. Next here we have a very unusual plane to see at Dulles, however this was here today as a realistic route. Here we have an American 757-200. He's actually going to be flying out to Washington Reagan. Now you're probably wondering, Washington Dulles to Washington Reagan, that is a very short flight, and you are correct. This flight does happen quite a lot. I've seen a United 757-300 do it, a Delta A321. In some cases I'm not really sure why. For American, I know that American actually have rights to one of Dulles's hangars, so I don't know, because I looked up the registration of the plane and it literally flew from Reagan to Dulles and then Dulles to Reagan. That's not an operated flight, that's not a scheduled passenger flight, so I don't know whether American are doing it for the maintenance or something like that. I was going to guess that Delta and United were just doing it to kind of transfer planes. Maybe they were down a plane at Reagan and up a plane at Dulles, so they just transferred one or two. But yeah, I don't actually know why these flights happen. If anybody does know for sure, then tell me in the comments. But yeah, this is going to be heading out to Washington Reagan. Next here, the United Express area, we have two new models. One of them isn't actually a United Express plane, but it's going to be operating for United Express in this update. But then we do actually have one new United Express model. I'll get to that when I get to that, but here in front of you we have a United Express ERJ 170. This is going to be heading out to Akron Canton. Now this is a route that's going to be starting May 8th, 2020, and I'm actually pretty excited about this route because this is actually the airport I flew to back in 2015 to see family in Ohio, and now there's a direct link to where my family in DC live, which is Washington Dulles pretty much, and where my family live in Ohio, which is Akron Canton. Because originally what I've done, I'm actually doing the trip report. My last Tuesday video was the trip report up to Cleveland, and then my next one will be back from Cleveland to DC. The reason why I was going to Cleveland is to see family, but they actually live closer to Akron Canton, but because there's no actual route from DC to Akron at the moment, I actually had to fly American down, and I actually just flew American to Cleveland, I think, for some reason, but then back from Cleveland to Dulles, I just flew United Express from Cleveland to Dulles instead of Akron to Dulles. But yeah, this is going to be flying out to Akron as a bit of a, you know, obviously this route isn't realistic at the moment, but it will be May 8th of 2020. And although it may not seem like it, this is the new model. I do actually have now two of the United Express ERJ 175s in the old livery. I decided to go for an old livery because, well, I had a great deal. I'll have an unboxing of all the planes I got in this kind of haul, I guess you could say, on Sunday. That will be coming out Sunday 8 PM, so definitely check that out when it comes out. But yeah, I decided to go for this because I just had a really great deal from one of you guys who actually sold it to me. So yeah, really thank you for that, whoever did it. Well, I do actually know, I'll give them a shout on everything in the unboxing. But this plane in particular, as I said, is an ERJ 175. He's going to be heading out to Houston. And next here we have a United Express -8 200. He's actually going to be heading out to Clarksburg in a bit. For any of you who are new, I actually use the -8 200s as kind of, I know these are retired in real life, but I use them because my United Express fleet is a bit dwindling at the moment. Hopefully that will actually jump up within the next month or two, because I have actually ordered 3 at the moment. I'm hoping to bump that up to 5 of the new United Express CRJ 550s. They don't actually fly to Dulles yet, but they will do in the future, so I may just, you know, include them into the Washington Dulles update within a month or two. So within a month or two you may see the retirement of these Q200s, I call them Q200s, -8 200s, within the next 2 months, and they'll be replaced by the CRJ 550s. But this one in particular is going to be heading out to Clarksburg. Next here we have another United ERJ 170. This is going to be heading out to Dayton. And next here we have an American Eagle CRJ 200. This is actually operating for United Express at the moment. This does happen occasionally with the CRJ 200s. I did actually do this route a while ago with the CRJ 700, pretending it was a, well, not pretending, but using it as a CRJ 200. But this does actually happen occasionally with the CRJ 200 because United Express and American Eagle lease their CRJ 200s from the same place. So occasionally you'll see this happen. You'll get a United Express flight operating on a CRJ 200 that is in the American Eagle livery. But this one's going to be heading out to Pittsburgh. And then next up we have the second United Express ERJ 175. He's going to be heading out to Austin, Texas. And then finally for the United Express section, we have another United Express -8200. He's going to be heading out to Wilmington. Next here, just getting fueled up, we have an American Eagle CRJ 700. This is going to be heading out to Charlotte. Now, my last video, not my last video, but my last video on Tuesday was actually a trip report of this flight, among other flights as well. So if you haven't seen that, I would recommend you go and see that. I'm pretty proud of it, and I'm so happy that you guys are actually enjoying my trip reports. I understand that that's not the main reason you guys are subscribed to my channel, but I am so pleased that you guys are actually enjoying my trip reports. If you don't want to watch my trip reports, that's absolutely fine. I get that. I understand that trip reports can be a bit boring in general, and all of that, but I've tried to make my trip reports as short as possible. I try to make them under 10 minutes just because I understand trip reports can go on a long time. I've been in the same boat where I'm watching a trip report and it's like half an hour long, but you know, I've tried to make them as short and condensed as possible, but still conveying the same amount of information. So I appreciate the feedback as well on those videos, so thank you. If you're not a fan of them, again, you don't have to watch them, but they're there if you want to. Next here we have an American One World 737-800. He's going to be heading out to Dallas. Again, this is another plane I'm still waiting on. I've actually ordered 2 of the NG American 737-800s. See, I had loads of them. I was just going to surprise you with all of them, but it's been so long now that I'm just gonna. I'm pretty sure I've just told you all of them. But yeah, I've ordered 2 of the American 737-800s because if you don't know at Dulles, usually how American goes, you see CRJ 900. Gemini jets don't make a 900, so I use the 700, and then you see usually 2, sometimes 3 737-800. So of course I've got this one, and then I've ordered 2 more because you get the Los Angeles flight, the Dallas flight, and then you've actually got a flight to Charlotte that is on the 737. They usually before were using like an Airbus on that route, like an A319 or A320, but now all 3 American Airlines flights are all on 737-800s, which makes it very easy for me because all I have to buy is one type of plane. Next here we have an Austrian 777-200 in the old livery. He's going to be heading out to Vienna. Now I know Austrian actually operates the 767-300 instead of the 777-200, and this is in the old livery as well. I just really like this plane, and as well, I don't think there is a 767-300 that is out. I think JC Wings have they've got a pre-order of one. I might try and see if I can get that one of a 767-300 in the new livery, and try and update my Austrian fleet, which at the moment consists of 1 plane. Next here we have a KLM A330-300 in the old livery as well. The A330-300 is back in service to Dulles instead of the kind of mix-mash of 787-9s, 777-200s, 777-300s we've been getting over the summer. But now for the past week it's been a constant A330-300, which of course I already have that plane, which is lucky for me. This is going to be heading out to Amsterdam or Dutch Aviation's airport. Now the A330 that's flying here today is actually in the old livery as well, so that's kind of good, but I am trying to get a KLM 787-10 in the plain livery. I know they don't have at the moment a 787-10 in the plain livery, but I assume when they get more they will have one, so I'm just waiting until, you know, Gemini Jets or whoever will release one of them. The next 2 planes are 2 of our Arabian carriers here at Dulles. We have the Qatar One World 300 in the One World livery, as I've said. This one is going to be heading out to Doha in a bit. I am trying to work on getting a Qatar 777-300 in the regular livery. They did actually go through a phase of flying A350-1000s, but as I said, I think that is a phase, and they've gone back to the 777-300 now, so yeah, I don't think I'll actually need to get an A350-1000. And next here, just getting the very wonky catering on board, we have a Saudi Arabian 777-300. He's going to be heading out to Jeddah. Next here we have an Alaska A320, just getting catering on board. He's going to be heading out to San Francisco in a bit. And then moving down we have the Copa 737-800. He's going to be heading out to Panama City. Then we have a Delta 737-900 heading out to Atlanta. And a Delta CRJ-200 heading out to New York JFK. Next here we have a Southwest 737-700 heading out to Atlanta. And then here just started its pushback, we have an Air France 777-300 heading out to Paris Charles de Gaulle. And getting cleaned we have a Scandinavian A330-300, he's going to be heading out to Copenhagen. Moving on to the United terminal now, here we have a United 737-700 heading out to Cleveland. Then we have a United 737-800 heading out to Chicago O'Hare or Captain Raylan's Airport. Then we have a United 737-900 in the EcoSkies livery. He's going to be heading out to Renza or American Airlines 321's airport. Then here we have a United 777-200 heading out to Tokyo or Aviation Anything's airport. And one thing about the United to Tokyo route is that on the 27th of March 2020, the United route to Tokyo is going to change from going to the Tokyo Narita airport, and instead it's actually going to fly to Tokyo Haneda. Sorry, I don't know how to say that, but Haneda's airport. So that's just a bit of news about the United to Tokyo route. Then we have a United 767-300 heading out to Amsterdam. Then we have a United A320 heading out to Portland. Then we have a United 737-900 heading out to Chicago O'Hare or United 091's airport. Next here we have a United 757-200 heading out to Los Angeles. A United 787-8 heading out to San Francisco. A United A320 heading out to Orlando. And finally a United 737-800 heading out to Boston. And that's kind of been the end of this Washington Dulles International Airport update. However, I do want to show you this, which is the rough. This is only very rough. There won't be, you know, I'm not sure how many gates will be where or whatever, but this is a rough idea of what the new Dulles will look like. So as I said, in 4 weeks time, so a month from now, we'll have the last update of this airport. Then we're going to take a break in December. I'm going to be doing some different videos anyway in December, some less aviation related videos, just as a little bit of a break for me and maybe for you. Just I'm kind of experimenting, putting out some different videos, that kind of thing. And then in January we're going to jump straight into building this airport. So instead of last time where I kind of left you in the dark for I think 7 months, I just said, right, I'm going to be building a new update. I think I said that in like May of 2018, and then I popped up in January of 2019 saying, here it is. You know, I'm actually going to be taking you through month by month an actual update of where I am with things, and almost like a tutorial. So I'm going to be giving you a tutorial on how I built or how I'm going to build this new airport. So I think the first video I'm going to do is about this airport in particular, and I'm going to be taking this down because a lot of you have asked me how I build this airport that actually folds up, because if you don't know, I've actually done it over here already, but this is actually a piece that like folds up and out over the airport, and then it's got legs that keep it standing. And I'll be talking about how you can build this yourself, and then why I'm not going to be using it anymore, and then I'm going to be, after that, moving on to this. So I'm going to be doing different episodes each month on different parts. So the first one is probably going to be how I'm going to build the base, so the supports and the actual wood piece that's going over. Then I'm going to be painting it and giving a rough pencil outline, I think, and then I haven't really planned it from there. But talking about this actual airport in particular, one thing that you guys are probably going to be happy to hear is it's actually going to have a physical terminal. It is kind of official now. The only thing I'm waiting on is the actual people to build it. I do have a company who's actually going to build this for me, but I have this terminal is going to be the first one to be built. This terminal here will be the terminal I have now for Frontier and Air Canada. And then yeah, so anyway, moving on to here, so I'm going to talk you through how this is all going to go. So it's in kind of like an L shape here. Here we have the Delta sports charter places, or places for different charters or something like that. And then here we have the terminal for Air Canada and Frontier, which is Terminal Z, which is the main terminal you check into at Dulles. However, it won't be that big, it'll just represent the gates. Of course, the actual Terminal Z is huge, but it only has 5 gates. The terminal here will just be the right size for 5 gates, just because I don't want to take up so much room that it's kind of pointless. And then here I'll have some gates for cargo and also VIP kind of aircraft. Then we have 1 runway. I don't really see the point of putting more than 1 on a model airport, just because this isn't going to be a one-to-one realistic thing of Dulles. I don't have the room for that. I'm pretty sure no one does, because it would be huge. And then here we have the main terminal. This is actually going to be a one-to-one scale representation of this terminal. I can't do a one-to-one representation of both the A and B concourses and the C and D concourses, so I'll get onto this in a minute. But here, this is going to be the exact scale. I think it's like 3.5 meters long. This is where basically any airline apart from United, Frontier and Air Canada go to. So that's that long one with all the flags in it and all of that kind of jazz. That's going to be up here. So if you remember from the real Dulles, American is about here, Alaska's about there, Aer Lingus comes in here. This is Delta, Southwest is about here, then we have British Airways, Air France, and working along all of the big international airlines. The only difference is we don't have the United Express area that's added on the end. I might add that, I might not. I'm going to see how much space I actually have. And then moving here across the runway, this is going to be the last thing to be built, so we might actually have one Dulles update where there's going to be no United terminal. We're just going to have this part. I'm going to do an update on that, and then I'm going to continue building that this part. So this is concourses C and D. It's going to be relatively a lot smaller than the concourses A and B. That's just because I don't have, as I said, room to do both realistic sizes of United realistic sizes of both of the terminals. So United I have elected to be the smaller one, because I could either have United be this one and then all the other airlines fit in there, and I just thought, you know what, United, it's just the same thing over and over, because it literally is, it's just United, United, United. But here you have a lot of variety, and it's the one I have more planes for anyway. So yeah, I'm going to have hard stands as well, and I haven't actually figured out completely how this is going to go. As I said, this is going to be the last piece that is added onto the terminal, so I may not decide that until halfway through building. But yeah, that's just a kind of like a preview of what the new Dulles is going to be. But for now, I still have one more update on this airport, and as I said, after that I'm going to be explaining how I built this airport, and then how you can build it, and then why I'm getting rid of it. So yeah, that's been this update of Washington Dulles International Airport. I hope you did enjoy, and apart from that, I will see you in the next video. Bye.